with open hearts and open minds. First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado presents Hope and Coffee with Pastor Hugo Venegas.
Hi, this is Hugo Venegas. It is Tuesday. Welcome back to Hope and Coffee. We are studying this month the benefits of wisdom. Yesterday we talked about abundance. Abundance being one of the blessings of God, but the habit that we need to cultivate is honoring God with our finances. Today I want to ask you a question as we look at another habit. And here's the question I want to ask you. Have you ever put into a space, a space of confinement because you broke a rule? I mean, either in a penalty box because you play hockey, and we have a 60-year-old in our church who plays hockey, and you violate a rule and you get sent into the penalty box. Or have you ever been red carded? Or when you were growing up as a kid, have you ever been sent to the principal's office because you did something that you were not supposed to? Have you ever been confined to a space of punishment? Now, I want you to know that we're going to look at another benefit. And this benefit comes from verses 11 and 12 from Proverbs 3. And let me read you those verses. It says here, "My son," and this is wisdom, Lady Wisdom, this feminine energy of knowledge and understanding of divine insight speaking to us, and she addresses us as son. "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in." So what is the benefit of wisdom? Life coaching. Life coaching. Now, it says here, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline. Do not resent his rebuke." Now, what the Bible is saying is that wisdom is life coaching, for when we get in trouble. Now, if you get in trouble, taking a helmet and hitting another teammate and hitting another person on the field, you get ejected out of the game. You get suspended for several games, and you get fined. And what Proverbs is saying is that punishment is not always the way to guarantee wise living. Being punished don't always guarantee wise living. And I realize this because as a kid, I used to get punished all the time. I used to have coaches whenever we would play soccer and we wouldn't play well, we would get yelled at. We would get punished. We would get benched. And did we improve? No. Did I improve as a kid when I went to the river and I ditched school and I went swimming and I got punished and I got beat at home and I got grounded and I got locked up and I even got tied up by my grandmother so I wouldn't go down to the river? Did I get smart? Did I get wise? No. You see, punishment does not guarantee wise living. What does guarantee wise living is life coaching. And what wisdom is saying, let me give you a little life coaching. Because when we get that life coaching is what helps us to get wise, not to be a wise guy, but to be a wise man, not to be a woman who's got knowledge, but a woman who's got wisdom, that we know how to live skillfully. Now, here's what I need you to understand. What is the habit that we're asking to cultivate? It's a teachable heart. So in order to get life coaching, the life kind of teaching and instruction that helps our life come to fruition, we need to have a teachable heart. And that's why it says in verse 11, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline. Do not resent his rebuke." So this is what it's teaching us. Don't reject or resent God's correction, because God's correction is not what we experience in sports. A coach doesn't like how you're playing, you get benched. You break a rule on the ice field, you get sent into the penalty box. If you break a rule in school, you get sent to the principal's office, and that doesn't make us wise in our living. So what does? Coaching. And what is the difference? When a coach yells at you, most coaches just focus on yelling at us when we do something bad. A good coach works on the skills, works on helping their players to acquire the kinds of skills that make them feel successful. And some parents, some even religious leaders think that just punishing is going to make us wise. Punishing doesn't make us wise. It can even make us rebellious. What makes us wise is life coaching. All right, let me illustrate this. I had 2 golf coaches when I was learning to golf as an adult, and one would always teach me, these are the fundamentals, and he would always yell at me when I would grip too hard. He would always yell at me when my stance was too wide. He was always yell at me when I was out of alignment, and he taught me the fundamentals and then yelled at me every time I did the fundamentals wrong. I did not learn a lot from him. Then I went to a new coach. And when I went to this golf coach, he said to me, "What do you want?" I said, "Hey, I want to hit a drive that is long and straight." And he says, "All right, that's what you want, to drive the ball straight down the fairway." Yes, that's what I want. Then he says, "All right, here are a couple of balls, go on the range and let me see what you're doing." So I go and I swing and the ball went that way, and then I swing again and the ball went that way, and I started using some Spanish words. And then he looked at me and he figured out what I was doing wrong. And then he brought me back and he said, "I want you to relax." And then he took out a hockey stick and started saying, "Now I want you to open the blade of the hockey stick. And if you imagine that you're hitting a tennis ball, where is that ball going to go?" I said, "That way, because that's where it's pointed." He says, "All right, now move it over the other way." And it closed the blade in. And he says, "If you hit that tennis ball, where it's going to go?" I said, "It's going to hook." And then he says, "Now put it straight. Where is that ball going to go?" I said, "Straight, because the blade is straight." And he says, "That's the same principle in golf. You have to square up and you have to hit the ball square." And then he took me back to the fundamentals and corrected how I was not doing the fundamentals right. And for the first time in my life, he just said, "Relax. Just think that you're a clown and go out there and just swing like you're a worm." And I just think, and man, bam, that ball went straight down. And I'm like, "Whoa, hallelujah. What happened? What happened?" He corrected me. He corrected what I was not doing right. And you know what? 10, 15 years after he taught me that, I won a long drive competition in a charity tournament. Why? Because he was a life coach. And a life coach focuses on the objective. What is the objective? I want to live a life of wisdom. All right, show me how you live it. And then the life coach says, "Oh, that's not wise, that's dumb, that's not smart." And then they bring us back to the fundamentals. They bring us back and they help us to understand how to do right what we're not doing right. And they correct the wrong. And that's why he's saying a good coaching does it out of love. A good coaching does it out of love. A good parent, it creates wise living when they do it out of love. And that's what it says in verse 12. Because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in. So when we're put in the penalty box, when we're red carded by God, it's not to destroy us. He's saying, don't resent the discipline. Don't resent when God gets on your back. He's just trying to help you. And God, because he loves us, he coaches us and he inspires us and he allows us to see what we're doing wrong, and he shows us how to fix the problem so that we can experience a life of abundance, a life of wisdom, a life of health. So, whenever God pulls you off the road, or he puts you in the penalty box, he's going to sit in that penalty box with you, and he's going to say, Son, daughter, let's work on your game. God is interested in creating champions. He is not interested in locking us up and putting us in timeout where we never learn and we never grow. This is Hugo Venegas from the First United Methodist Church. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed our inspirational Bible study, like or subscribe below. Join us for worship online or in person. You can visit us at firstumcpueblo.org, or you can come by at 310 West 11th Street, Pueblo, Colorado 81003. Give us a call, 719-544-1917, and join us again tomorrow for another inspirational Bible study. We'll see you soon.